Hey y'all, welcome back. It's Dr. Tabby Cat, and tonight we are going to discuss your body has boundaries. And then I'll go over a journal exercise that you can write down and do, and then we'll do our spread that we're gonna do. All right, so let's get started. All right, your body has boundaries. A boundary is the space that distinguishes you from others. Practically speaking, you live a life contained within a body that is composed of elements that all work together as a system, but are also unique entities unto themselves. As a human being, you begin life in utero, inside a sac floating in fluids. you you developed inside the body of another human being connected through the umbilical cord. The moment the moment you were born, differentiation occurred, and you existed singularly for the first time. As a newborn and infant, you were dependent entirely on your caregivers for all your needs. In this way, your first orientation to boundaries is with your parents and earliest caregivers. Okay. Okay, kinesphere. The notion of a kinesphere comes from Rudolf Laban's somatic movement and analysis technique. Laban movement analysis, a lens for viewing and interpreting movement. It denotes one's own personal movement space. Your kinesphere is your movement and energy boundary. It is the space around you that belongs to you. It extends out and just beyond your fingertips in every direction and plane of possible movement, and gives the mover a sense of how far their movements and the energy of their movements can extend before bumping into another mover. As you move in the world, consider how you move not only within your skin, but also within your kinesphere. Do you allow your movement and energy to really fill the whole space of your kinesphere? Which planes of movement do you habitually move within? What parts of your kinesphere are shadowed and neglected? Consider what happens when your kinesphere merges with another's and the differences that creates in movement. When we talk about boundaries in somatic psychology and somatic therapy, we define them first at the very practical level of one's sense of boundary as a being living in a body. Then first at a very practical level at one's sense of boundary as a being living in a body. Inside the body of your skin exists the whole world unto you. This is your sovereign and holy space. Your skin houses your inner body, not just physically, but also energetically. Thus, your inner awareness is a rich garden of experiences. Somatic psychology also explores how bodies move within their own kinespheres and how they interact with one another. How bodies move with or against each other, how they repel and attract and make new things together. This is as much physical as energetic, and it is cultural specific. In some cultures, more space, personal space is considered normal and appropriate. In other cultures, more closeness is the norm. The notion that individuals may retain their sovereign personal boundaries is dependent on the acculturation and gendering they have received as well. Boundaries, relationship, and consent. Your sense of personal boundaries informs your capacity to give, receive, and honor consent. In relationships, you negotiate the giving, occupying, and receiving of space and boundaries all the time. In places of boundary crossing and violation, we feel agitated, hurt, disrespected, and overpowered. New contracts and healing must occur for safety of boundaries to be reestablished. The feeling of merging with a partner or bonding with a child and having the intimacy that comes from individual boundaries dissolving a bit can be ecstatic. Whether boundaries yield closeness or establish distance, they are vital to our embodiment. They help us stay differentiated as ourselves with the capacity to connect consensually. Boundaries are the containers within which all relationships occur. These include your relationship with yourself as well as your relationships with others. Examples of boundaries are personal space, commitments to time, respecting space and belongings, energy, and nature. If the boundaries provided to you as a child were fuzzy or inconsistent, you may have internalized the relationship and then created ambiguous boundaries as an adult. Recalibrating to a healthy sense of boundaries in which you do not betray your own commitments and are able to articulate your boundary needs in relationships is vital to healthy adulthood. Somatic therapies utilize the felt sense of the boundary lines in your body to inform how you relate to boundaries in the rest of your life. Somatic therapy cultivates, refines, and empowers your sense of boundaries at the physical level, the psychosocial, emotional level, and the relational level. The tools of moving, breathing, sensing, feeling, all of which you began exploring earlier, build your ability to sense, identify, and stay connected to your boundaries and to take action based on them. Okay, somatic psychology and somatic therapy offer you this core principle. Your body has boundaries. Find and explore your boundaries. Take some time here to explore, experience, and strengthen the sense of your boundaries inside your own skin. Okay. Okay, here's a movement exercise. Identify your physical boundary. To explore the boundaries of your body, stand with your feet about hip distance apart and firmly placed beneath you. Softly bend your knees just so you are not standing too rigid. Place your hands on your body and breathe. Pay attention to the rise and fall of your breath, moving into and away from your hands. Next, make fists or use your fingertips and begin tapping your body from head to toe. Tap over your entirety of your skin, starting from your head and face and neck, down the sides of your body and along your torso, then down the fronts and backs of your legs. When you have done this, stand with your arms by your sides and close your eyes. Feel the boundary of your skin. Notice the sensations of that boundary. Notice the energy along the underneath of the surface. Anytime you feel a bit spun out, feel disengaged from your body, or having trouble maintaining contact with good and healthy boundaries, return to this exercise. Okay, movement exercise number 2. Articulate the boundary of your kinesphere. From the space of your awakened boundaries along your skin, explore the sense of your personal space, your kinesphere. Remember, your kinesphere is the space around that is just the edge of your arm's reach. Imagine that distance making a sphere around you. This is your personal boundary space. Step your feet wide apart from each other. Stretch your arms wide. Feel across the length of your arms and legs and take up space. Feel from inside your body to the boundary of your skin and then through your bones to the edges of your personal space. Repeat this, standing with your feet comfortably apart and reaching as full as you can out in front of you, then above you. Continue to breathe and feel your body, both internally and in space. Trace your kinesphere around you now. With your arms stretched up, turn one arm in wide and circle around you. Then do the same with the other arm. Envision and carve your sense of personal space with this motion. Imagine that a sphere or bubble surrounds you. Notice what it feels like to have a sense of this boundary of personal space. Feel what it is like to be present inside your own personal space. If emotions arise, let them. Welcome this personal, intimate space where only you are. Return to these practices in articulating the boundary of your skin and the sense of your boundary lines anytime you feel your internal awareness of boundaries or the way you are carrying them out in the world has become weakened. All right, and here are some journal entries. All right, write from your boundaries. Number 1, question. When I am clear about my sense of boundaries, I feel, and then write your response. Number 2, the personal boundary of my skin feels, and write your response. Number 3, describe what it's like to identify your skin as a boundary. When, if ever, was the last time you felt that boundary as clearly? And your response. Number 4, what was it like to identify and carve out your personal space? What happened internally for you? Write down any thoughts or feelings that caught your attention. Number 5, if you ever had your boundaries violated, ignored, or made unimportant, spend some time writing about that here. All right. And that's all we'll do with the boundaries. Definitely do the journal entries because that will help. And the little exercises because those are good. Good to do. All right, so like I said, we're doing the 7 deadly sins tonight. All right, so I pulled the pre-shuffle cards already. So for the astral cards, we have number 17, solar flares activate. Number 32, Vesta Hearth. Number 36, midheaven pinnacle. And number 56, progressions journey. So let's see, number 17, solar flares. All right, solar flares. And that reminds me of the chakras being balanced all down the center, going all the way up to the top. All right, it says, tempers flare along with the sun. You can scorch yourself with too much passionate action and not enough emotional sensitivity if you're not mindful. The sun is sending extra voltage and inspiration your way, so use it wisely. Feel the heat in the situation, the passion, and the people involved. Then balance the fire by adding water's compassion, the thoughtfulness of air, and the logistics of earth to turn the inspiration into reality. And it's activate. So basically, you need to use all of the elements. So you can't have one more than the other because it's going to be off balance. So if you're coming in with too much fire or lustful energy, it's not going to equal out. You're going to be imbalanced. All right, the next one is 32, Vesta Hearth. So the 7 deadly sins we're going over is lust, greed, wrath, gluttony, envy, pride, and sloth. because this kept coming up today. So, so 32 Vesta Hearth, more fire. All right, Vesta warns you to share yourself rather than sacrifice yourself. Your hard work at holding the situation together may be ignored or taken for granted unless you know your worth. Find the temple within, the place of quiet safety where you can tend the fire and carry the sacred temple with you always. And this reminds me of your sacred sacral temple, your sexual temple, your body's temple. It's all, sacramental. It's all sacred. You should take care of it. Treat it as sacral and sacred. Don't treat it as something that can just be used up and tossed around each day and doesn't mean anything. Because your body, like I said, the more people that you allow to use it, the more attachments that you get attached to. And that's not good. It causes more mental issues and health issues, STDs, and nobody needs that. Next, we have 36, Midheaven Pinnacle. All right, traditions. Other people's expectations or your family's history may be complementary to your idea of your own potential, or they may be hurdles to overcome as you find your true path. Underneath all worldly sense of ambition is a soul's longing to live out its potential. Listen to the call. And like we've said this entire week and last week that we've been going over, just because your family and friends say something or believe in something doesn't mean that you have to. You have to go by what you believe in and what your thoughts are, not what everybody else. It's not a group mind think. It's what you believe. But you have to do the inner work. You have to heal. If you're not out there healing, then honestly, there's no point of you having an opinion on anything. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's the truth. Because if you're not working on yourself, what's the point of hearing your opinion on anything? So the last one we have is number 56, Progression's Journey. Because I honestly am not going to listen to somebody that's unhealed trying to tell me anything. 1818 on the clock. All right. This is not a small obstacle or opportunity. This is part of a complex pattern. Every choice you make changes how it unfolds. Trust the tides and set your own sails. Okay, this is karmic fate to your soul's journey. Your present situation may not make sense in the short term because it has more to do with big karmic patterns and how those intersect with the karmic patterns of the world's progress, and less to do with your daily existence. Stand back and look at your life's journey. Think of the years you engaged with the world and the years you needed time for your more personal work. Consider making a timeline or painting this landscape and looking at those big sweeping patterns. Situations may feel fated, but the outcome is not predestined. Okay, so like this is, look at your karmic patterns. Look and see where you're repeating the same situations over and over again. Are you not learning your lessons? If you're not, why not? Do you not want to change? Do you not want to grow? Do you not want to expand your horizon to something better? I don't understand it. Why do you want to stay low vibrational your entire life? All right, now we have the Urban Crow. So for the first deck, we have number 6, Bond. And it says, aside from a few casual swingers, generally male, crows and ravens mate for life. Bond represents a karmic relationship, a connection that goes beyond our everyday existence. Whether it is a relationship to a person, career, or place or hobby, this soul level connection is deep and strong. You can feel it course within your veins. Bond creates an energy that pulls you closer to where you need to be and will tug back when you get too far away. When you draw the Bond card, use this as an opportunity to focus on areas of your life that feel deeply connected, because it is here that you find your strength to push forward and conjure the enthusiasm needed to reach a goal. Bond. Karma and karmic is the word of the day. Number 45, self-interest. I regularly have 4 neighborhood crow visitors. There is one crow that seems a bit more selfish when it comes to the food I put out, while the other crows take their turns grabbing a nugget or 2 of the dog food I leave out on the plate. There is one that I will shove as much in its mouth as possible, not caring if there isn't a single crumb for the others. Self-interest indicates that you may be looking out only for yourself, and as a result, others will be impacted. On the flip side, be aware of the actions taken by those around you, as someone may try to come in and take more than their fair share. Being selfish isn't always bad. Sometimes we need to focus on our wants and needs. Depending on our situation, self-interest may indicate that you are in need of some pampering and that it is time to put your needs above others. For example, your dream job may require a move or a shift in lifestyle. You may need to weigh the impact taking the job will have on those around you. In short term, you may be perceived as selfish, but in the long term, your decision may benefit all those involved. And territory. Territory. Crows are very territorial. They have distinct groups and they will not hang out too long on a block that is not theirs. Territory indicates that someone may be entering your space uninvited, or that you may be the one who is the intruder. This card may also ask if you are protecting something out of concern that may be trying to step on your toes or take over something you cherish. When territory appears in a reading, you may need to consider what boundaries are in place or if they are needed. Would the situation benefit from establishing some ground rules? Territory may also appear if you need to carve out some space for yourself, whether that be within your home or in the form of time to be alone. You may need to divine an area solely yours and yours alone. So boundaries and karma and karmic. Remember these words. All right, commitment. Something a lot of people need to know the definition of. Commitment. Nature photographer June Hunter has documented the lives of a pair of crows she calls George and Mabel and their commitment to one another. When George's beak broke due to an accident, his loving and faithful partner Mabel took over to ensure that George was fed and protected. When they coupled up, they agreed for better or worse, in sickness and in health. The loving pair remains committed. The commitment card asks that you examine areas where you have entered into an obligation. Are you ready to put in the work if needed? Are you willing to sacrifice something to ensure that you stay true to your word? If it is a goal you are committed to seeing through to completion, are you willing to offer your time and resources? Think about commitments you have made. Do they raise your vibration just thinking about them? Or do they feel heaviness associated with the situation? Of course, we all have our moments feeling less than enthusiastic. The question you may need to consider is if those moments, angst or resentment, outweigh the love and support your commitment brings to the situation. And look back at old commitments you've been in and see where you have disrupted those commitments and caused them to end, and where you've been at fault and to blame. Then we have 18, fear. Have you seen crows hanging around a scarecrow? I'm sure they were once afraid of it, but over time, with knowledge, their fear disappeared. Are there feared old beliefs passed down from generation to generation that hold you back out of fear? Fear asks that you examine your beliefs. Are they in sync with reality? Are your decisions and actions based on old information that no longer holds relevance today? Sure, fear can save us from making painful or costly mistakes. However, if given too much power, fear also creates inaction and stagnation. Fear prevents our creative mind from exploring all possible solutions to our problems. When this card appears, you may consider looking inward and checking in to see where you're allowing fear to limit your potential. As the saying goes, fortune favors the brave. Just as the crow on the card reaps the benefits of the field of untapped potential as the fearful crows hold back, you too have an opportunity where fear keeps others at bay. For you, fearless, all you need to do is swoop in and seize the moment. And fear comes in many ways. It also comes by somebody being ignorant in situations and silent in situations. Meaning you're not gaining knowledge in situations, and meaning you allowing your ego to take over. 44, scavenge. The crow searches for anything, even if the smallest crumb. Although insight may be gained, and scavenging can promote brain development, the crow's attention is on an area that might not yield the greatest reward. Scavenge suggests that you may be settling for less because it is easy. Your attention may be on a situation that holds little promise, yet at the same time you are hoping to find some source of nourishment or value. While in between jobs or relationships, you might find that the scavenge card will appear more frequently as you jump around from one opportunity to another. Use this time to gather information and determine what you like, what you don't like, what you can and won't settle for. This card may also appear if you have been simply taking what you can get instead of directing your attention toward the steps that would lead to something more substantial. Never get breadcrumbed from anybody, because then that they think that that's allowable, and they think that it's okay to continue doing that, and that just lessens your worth. All right, 46, soar. Have the confidence to fly. Get up, open your wings, and feel the supportive wind carry you to your destination. There are no obstacles in your way. Now's the time to move. Conjure up your courage and take action. Soar brings a rush of energy and open channel to receive the information needed to progress quickly with confidence toward your goal. It is in this space that blocks are removed and events flow beautifully as you sail on to success. When you meditate, ground, and get out in nature, you can be opened up to receive messages from your ancestors, from nature itself. So get out in nature more. All right, 15, distraction. Two crows work together to distract a dog. The purpose: to steal something it values, something that provides nourishment, its food. Someone or a situation may be calling you away from what you need to focus on, and as a result, you may end up losing something of value. Where are you turning your attention? Will it prove beneficial or a waste of time and resources? Distraction appears when your attention is focused on daydreaming or engaging in activities that take you away from doing your work that in the end will create success. Distraction can be as simple as being lured into binging your favorite show or focusing on a flight of fancy that will prove to be nothing more than a waste of time. When distraction is pulled in a reading, you may need to consider if the situation you're inquiring about is in fact nothing more than a distraction, something that is taking your attention away from a more valuable opportunity. It may also serve as a warning that a successful conclusion may be at risk due to something drawing your attention away from the goal. This is also going for somebody relationship wise, or just somebody of interest. If they're taking your attention away or trying to take your attention away from you or anything that you're working on, going back to the breadcrumbing thing, if they're only giving you crumbs and contacting you once a week, once a month, then, you know, they're just trying to breadcrumb you and give you crumbs here and there to keep you on a leash, to boost their egos. So just block them and ignore them and keep on with what you're doing, because you'll be successful. All right, 16, dominance. Like all creatures, crows establish a pecking order, and to do the stronger bird asserts its power. Dominance indicates that you may be feeling restricted by someone, or that a stressful situation is impacting your thoughts and decisions. Someone or something may be flexing their muscle, which will cause friction within, as you may not be able to fight or defend yourself. This card may represent a boss who makes you work overtime, a partner who always picks the restaurant, or a friend who always has to win. It may indicate you need to be in control. On a positive note, dominance may indicate your power over something and your ability to control a situation. The ancestors just gave me an example that they wanted me to say, and it goes with like dating and talking to people, again, getting to know someone. So when it comes to this dominance, people trying to be in control, males with a penis, that think that they have to have control over women. This is a weakness. This shows how weak they are. And when they actually run into an actual real female, an actual real woman, not a child, not an underage child, a young female that they're used to dealing with, that has no morals, has no education, doesn't care about herself. She's a 304, Jezebel, basically doesn't stick up for herself, and has never learned from her parents or anything on how to stick up for herself. Has never stuck up to a man that has inserted their dominance over a female. And for one, this is a generational thing that has gone through the bloodlines of a male. And this is something that needs to be broken, because it's sickening, it's disgusting, and it's also an abuse thing. It's abusive toward women. This control thing, it's not going to work with a real woman like myself, someone that has very high spiritual gifts. I can see right through you, any other woman like myself can see right through you without even speaking. We just have to observe you for a second and we're done. We don't even have to say anything. We can quietly exit and hang up and be done with the situation, and then call judgment, and then you will get your karma. So that's pretty much all we have to do. And no, we don't do no hoodoo, voodoo, none of that. You just get karma just like that, because our ancestors don't play. You know, I have great wisdom. That's why I'm considered a spiritual guru. I didn't do all this work and all these studies and internships and, you know, under these masters and guides to get to where I am today, to not be considered a guru and a master, ascended master. So I'm not stupid. And to have people get in my energy and try to manipulate me and play with me and do idiotic things like dominate me and manipulate me and try to think that they are above me and I am beneath them, or that they're better than me, I don't think so, because they will find out sooner or later that I am the gift. I am always the gift. I am always the chosen one. So, and you are karmic. If you even try any of those things, you are not healed. You need to heal. And you need to go within and realize what's wrong with you, because you probably come from mothers that are abusive, that are narcissistic, that didn't care about you, didn't love you, didn't show you any love, and just harassed you and told you that crying was gay and sissies and was everything else, and you couldn't show emotions. And then you probably had fathers that were abusive and lots of ancestral things going on within the families, and, you know, trigger warning rapes and, you know, family incest and pregnancies going on. So yes, lots of healing that needs to be done. And I'm sure there's lots of drugs and alcohol issues that are going on. So lots of healing that needs to be done. So men that do that, they're not healed. They're in karmic energies and they think they're better than the women. They're not. They're nowhere near better than the women, because all we need is clarity, and that's it. We're done. All right, 26, insight. Crows and ravens are problem solvers. Crows make tools and learn from each action. In this illustration, you see the crow dropping rocks into the water. After testing a couple rocks, the crow began to understand the relationship between the stones and the water. It learned that with each rock, the water would rise, and as a result, the buoyant shrimp would rise too. Insight asks that you take the time to examine your situation, test out different strategies to gain wisdom. When you understand the relationship between all contributing factors, you will be able to identify actions that yield little benefit or remove any obstacles that may have been in your way. In turn, apply strategies that expedite success. And also, if you don't have the audacity or the balls to come and apologize for things you have done that you know you have done and other people in the communities know you have done, then there's really no point of you coming out of your home, period, for anything, because that just lowers you even lower than you are now. 48, teamwork. Crows have mastered teamwork. Mobbing is one example of how crows work together on a common goal. When an intruder or a predator enters their territory, the birds jump into orchestrated action. Each member of the group holds an adventurous position in fighting off the threat. If your situation is a bit more complex, You could use an extra hand. Teamwork will be the solution to finding success. Call upon your team, your family, or your friends to assist you when facing a challenge that requires more than you can comfortably handle. Teamwork strengthens bonds, creates positive memories, and reinforces an awareness that you are not alone. Yes, that only helps if your family is positive, not negative. If they're negative and narcissistic, that's not going to help you. That's going to put you in a worse situation than you already are in. And tell them to go heal as well. 17, exposed. Alone and unprotected, the fledgling is vulnerable to attack. Exposed may indicate you are being thrust into the spotlight, and potentially not in a good way. Depending on the circumstances, as a result, you may feel helpless and fear possible criticism. Exposed may also point to an open and free opportunity for the taking, as there will not be much in the way of opposition. Exposed speaks to the feelings that surface as a result of feeling vulnerable. Are you comfortable putting yourself out there? Does facing criticism cause you to freeze up? What opportunities have you possibly missed because of fear of being seen? Exposed may also present itself as a call to examine your situation more carefully, as a piece of valuable information is becoming clearer. Something or someone may expose their flaws or weaknesses, as this may prove to be beneficial information in the future. And the more you want to show your ego to the public and your community and be a show off, just remember, yes, you will be exposed for your negativity as well. So all the lies will surface just as much as those so-called positivity things that you want to surface. All right, now for our Weeds and Witches Oracle. Number 23, stories that will take you far. All right, chickweed. The stories are a remedy. They cross time and let us live in amazing adventures to become immersed in another life. Storytelling is an ancient gesture that heals the listener and the narrator. The chickweed, which you meet on this card, grows light but has strong roots, like certain stories that ask you to be told and retold. Read, write, and ask to hear one. Every word shared opens a new space. From there you go forward. Even if you do not move, something inside begins to shift. So what story can you read, write, and rewrite for yourself? And then 31, the heart of the wolf, mugwort. The heart of the wolf can recognize the pack, but also know solitude. It belongs to a courageous animal that moves in the dark without any hesitation. The wild and regal figure has the memory of the woods in its eyes. Mugwort surrounds it like a cloak. It is a plant that opens the inner sight and encourages lucid dreaming. Here we will remain alert even when we cross the night. Trust your heart and do not be afraid of its wild dreams. The heart of the wolf beats together with the other creatures of the woods, a powerful chorus. Remember, your heart chakra is the one thing that needs to be opened fully and healed in order to have unconditional love, to be able to receive it and to give it, and to have full gratitude for life and living, and to awaken and to ascend fully. All right, here we have ancestral memories, our ancestors. myrtle. The sea knows your name even when you forget it. It is salty memory and ancient language. Myrtle knows the stories that you lived before you could even remember. As it also comes from the sea, it is a plant of the origins of the ancestors of its return. Its presence is sacred like yours. This card tells you about the true identity, about what eternally remains even after the departures. This is a place that recognizes you, and there is a face, yours, which is that place remains clear, entire, sacred. You never really went away. Always be authentic. That's who you want to be remembered for, is your authenticity, not your lies or the mask who you want to try and be. All right, just believe chamomile, asking a sacred gesture, a silent opening that calls the world to respond. Chamomile grows where everything seems arid. Its special gift is to prepare the dream, soothe, and bring sweetness. There is a cloud that is bathing the flower while you sleep, a soft response that only comes when you let yourself down. Dream, let yourself go, and and from there, that the portals open. It is not always necessary to act or be busy. Sometimes you just have to believe, have faith. Your desires have already been heard. Remember, if you're trying to manifest, always have faith, even if you don't see it coming, which you really will not, because that's when it usually is coming. It's when you don't see it coming. Just have faith that it's already there. All right, trust what you sense. Two figures face each other, identical and mysterious. They both wear gold masks, like someone safeguarding ancient secrets. The yule plant of the boundary that overlooks the landscape accompanies them with its blood-red berries. Symbols of what is not said, but what you can feel. It is the fire of the wise women, of those that can see without being seen, who read the flames as though they were maps. This card invites you to trust what you can sense even before knowing. And again, this asks you balance your chakras, trust your senses, your spiritual gifts. Your intuition. All right, ebb and flow. The water welcomes the sky and reflects it like a mirror, a threshold between worlds. A waterfall cascades down the hill and lets itself go, just as something in the ebbs and flows and releases itself. Look at how every internal landscape has its image reversed. What you see upside down is what is guiding you from above toward intuition and profound resonance. A flock of birds sings about spring, the wings abandoned to transparency. To fly, you must let yourself go. All right, intuition, surrender to the universe. Trust yourself, trust your intuition and where it's guiding you. Your ancestors will never let you down. All right, boundaries, declare boundaries. Few plants can teach necessary distancing like the nettle. If it brushes against you, it stings you, as if to say, I am here. Sometimes you must firmly declare that you are present. Protect your living space by saying no when it matters. Recharging your energy will bring nourishment to your life. The soul has its own weapons, and they are not always invisible. Sometimes they sting or leave a mark, a clear boundary. That boundary is you choosing to guard yourself. Whether that's sexual boundaries, physical boundaries, whatever boundaries that is, don't be afraid to put boundaries up against people, especially those trying to manipulate you and thinking that you're beneath them and they're trying to prove something to their friends and others. Or they think they have more money than you, which if somebody let me put it this way. If somebody has not physically spoke to you and had a conversation with you, and you guys have not discussed income, money, or any of that, then they cannot discuss and say that you are beneath them or anything else. And it doesn't matter about how you dress, how you look, because they have no idea. Because I've seen plenty of poor people that dress in the most expensive clothes and have nothing in their bank account. So it's all just a facade, because the most wealthiest people will wear the less expensive clothes and go out in public like that on a daily basis. So, and they know how to save the most money. All right, number 10, at the crossroads, the witch of the crossroads. You are at the intersection of 4 roads, and you know you have to choose one. A fox emerges from the fog, so liminal that it seems to change into a witch figure. White hair escapes from her pointed hat, moved by an invisible wind. Who are you, the fox or the witch? You can choose the cunning of the fox, hide your cards, and activate your lateral thinking. Or you can be the witch, ignore common time, dance to the rhythm of your heart. Maybe you can be both, intertwine your intuition and your heartbeat at the crossroads within you. All right. So hopefully you learned something. It was all about your intuition, boundaries. And now I did pull some intuition cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for our 7 deadly sins. What the heck? Oh, shoot. What the hell? Hold on. Oh my goodness. All right. Here we go. Okie dokie. So we have lust, greed, wrath, gluttony, envy, pride, and sloth. So, and it was funny because the first one that flew out when I was shuffling was a lust card for the intuition one. So we have 2 people, a male and a female, making out on the floor. So remember lust, number 1, 7 deadly sins. If you are not in a committed relationship, it's really supposed to be a divine marriage committed relationship. You really are not supposed to be indulging into any type of sexual relations with anyone, because you're opening yourselves up to demon attachments, and we've talked about those, which is the Jezebels, the incubus, succubus. And remember, you can get all of those by drinking alcohol, doing drugs, going to clubs, doing low vibrational activities, hanging around people like narcissists, being in organizations, demonic organizations, these Eastern Stars, the Masons, Freemasons, sex organizations, sex cults, whatever you want to call them. Any of those, you get demon attachments. And as long as you have an attachment, it's going to stay there until you get that attachment off of you. So, lust. That is a 7 deadly sin. Number 2, greed. Greed is a deadly sin. The gold, she's pointing to herself. How can she give to herself? That's all she's thinking about. How can she make herself shine even brighter and more gold when she's already covered in gold? Greed. You are not to be greedy. Greed is a demon attachment as well. It's okay to have money. Money is not demonic. It's how and what you do with the money that is demonic. And if you are greedy, that is demonic, and that is an attachment, and you need to not have attachments, and you need to not worship anything. And if you're greedy, that means you are worshiping money. Or if you're all about work and all you're focused on is the money, that pretty much becomes greed, because you're solely focusing on money instead of the accomplishment of work. All right, wrath. Getting vengeance and anger. Fighting, anger, being upset, trying to release it on others. That is a deadly sin. We don't want to take anger out on others. Like, we really need to be good within ourselves and know how to maintain ourselves. Like, people are so surprised that I am so calm, like pretty much 24/7. I don't allow others to get to me. I don't care what games you're trying to play. Do I get aggravated? Yes, but I don't let it get to me. I just think it's ignorant. I think it's stupid on your part, not on mine, because I'm not going to sit there and listen to it, and I'm not going to sit there and allow you to keep playing with me like that. So I don't allow myself to get played like that. And you may think I am, but I'm not. Trust me, I see right through you at the beginning. So, you know, and my ancestors may say, hey, let's play with them. And they may want to go back and forth with you. But I pretty much want to just like give you the sword, and I can hurt pretty badly with my sword, which is my mouth and my tongue, and I cut below the belt. So, and with my spiritual gifts, I can tell you your whole life story from childhood on up. So I'm pretty sure there's some wounds that I can talk about that you need to heal from you and your families. That would hurt pretty bad. And it's funny because people try to dig up dirt on me all the time, and there is none. So I am me. I am authentic. I have nothing to hide. I am not afraid of anything. So good luck on finding anything. I am 100% truthful 100% of the time. So yes, you need to heal from lust, greed, and wrath. All right, the next one is gluttony. Gluttony. Never overindulge in anything, whether it's eating, alcohol, drugs, sex, anything. Do not overdo it. It's not good for you. And if you are doing it, usually that means you have an attachment, because that means you cannot stop. And you need to, because there's something in your brain telling you, oh, let's go eat some more. Just eat one more bite. You can do it. There's nothing wrong with it. Keep eating. That's a demonic attachment, and a low vibrational demonic attachment. All right, the next one is envy. Envy. You should never envy anyone. Envy is a terrible thing. People envy people at their jobs. They envy people on a sports team that they're on. They envy people, you know, playing music. They may be in the same band. Oh, that person, they play better guitar than I do, or they write better songs than I do. Who knows? It's just stupid stuff. Or they wear better clothes, outfits than I do. I don't know. But that's all sinful. Next one is pride. Stop comparing yourself to everybody. You are an individual for a reason. God made you an individual to be different from everybody. Stop trying to fit in and look like everybody else, and stop trying to be like everybody else, because you're not. So if you're trying to impress everybody by making fun of somebody else, stop, because you just look stupid. So, and you're just sinning. So the last one, sloth. Self-care. If you're not taking care of yourself, you need to. Because by not taking care of yourself and not grounding yourself every day, getting out in nature, that actually is a sin. Let me see. Ah. Okay, so sloth. It's a lack of desire to grow closer to God, or negligent attitude toward your responsibilities, such as taking care of yourself or your spiritual self. Despair or boredom, or your mental health. And it is a deadly sin, because it's a habitual disinclination to exertion or laziness, whether it's a virtue of work to support society. Depression, boredom, restlessness. A giant shrug. It slows down the mind, halting its attention to matters of great importance. All right. Okay. All right, so let's get to our spread. Finally. Oops. All right, so The 7 deadly sins already shuffled. All right, number 1, lust. How can I open up to more pleasure in my life? And this is pleasure without being lustful. So how can I open up to more pleasure in my life without being sinful? How can I open up to more pleasure in my life without being sinful? How can I open up to more pleasure in my life without being sinful? And we have the King of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. All right, so the King of Swords is someone who is psychically, spiritually awoke. He's a great communicator. So spiritually, there's feathers there too, so there's ancestors around him. He does have his sword there in his hand. So let's see, how can he open up to more pleasure in his life? Well, he can speak very well. And then we have the Knight of Swords, which the Knight of Swords takes quick action. It's youthful. And here he's got his sword and he's using it to repel the lightning coming down. So and it is raining, but it's actually raining away from where the lightning is. It's raining around him. And then we got the Queen of Pentacles, someone that's mothering, nurturing, stable. She's holding her stomach. She's probably pregnant. And she's also abundant. She knows how to make money and be creative. So, how to have pleasure without being lustful? Well, you have these 3 cards, which they came out like this. So you have the King of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles, and the Knight of Swords in the middle. So he can take action with the Queen of Pentacles in a non-lustful way. They can come together as a couple, a divine couple, a married couple, and not have any lust. Because as you see, there's no wands, so there's no lustful energy. He just has his sword. And there's no fire energy around her, because she's just very earthly and nurturing. And then he's still quick, because he has the sword going with the lightning, so. Alright, so that's how you can have pleasure without lust. Make sure you're in a committed relationship. Alright, greed. Let's see, what's blocking my abundance right now? What's blocking the abundance right now? All right, we have the Knight of Cups and the Ten of Cups. So you have a younger person in the family that is blocking your abundance right now, who is greedy, that is blocking it. So someone in the family, a younger person, is blocking the abundance. They want the fulfillment, all of the wish fulfillments that you were trying to get. They want it, so they are blocking all of that. And they could be a drinker. They could drink a lot, this young person. They could be in their 20s. They could have blonde hair. And it could be a friend setting that's like family or an organization, a cult, whatever. All right. So, wrath. Am I carrying any repressed anger or upset? How can I release it? Am I carrying any repressed anger or upset? How can I release it? Wrath. Am I carrying any repressed anger or upset? How can I release it? Am I carrying any repressed anger or upset? The sword, the Ace of Swords, that is the truth, yes. We are carrying repressed anger and upset. And his hand has released the sword, so yes. So yes to release it. You need to release any repressed anger. Do not hold on to any anger. And we have the Hermit at the bottom. So if you're holding on to any repressed anger, go into Hermit mode. Meditate. And as you see, he's got the light coming up. He's getting downloads from the divine. He's talking to his ancestors. All right, number 4, gluttony. How can I better nourish myself? How can I better nourish myself? Gluttony. How can I better nourish myself? All right, we got the Queen of Swords. That's funny. All right, we got the Queen of Swords and the King of Pentacles. So we got the opposite couple of what came out earlier. All right, the Queen of Swords, she's standing there with her sword to the side. She's got her feathers. And now the Queen of Swords is very outspoken with her words. She'll tell you straight up how to take care of yourself if you're eating too much, not taking care of yourself. The King of Pentacles is very, very nurturing and grounding. He definitely can tell you how to take care of yourself, how to get out in nature and eat correctly. So both of them together have no issues with getting you on the right track. So first we had the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords. Now we have the Queen of Swords and the King of Pentacles. All right. Now, envy. How can I stop comparing myself to others? Envy. How can I stop comparing myself to others? Envy. How can I stop comparing myself to others? How can we stop comparing ourselves to others? Envy. How can we stop comparing ourselves to others? Envy. How can we stop comparing ourselves to others? Okay. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, the High Priestess and the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles is a single, successful, independent woman. And the High Priestess is someone who goes within. So, how do you stop comparing yourself to others. You go within and you look at yourself as a single, successful, independent person, male or female. You hold this Nine of Pentacles. You don't need anybody else. You have everything you need. All right, pride. How can I celebrate myself today? Pride. How do we celebrate ourselves today? Pride. How do we celebrate ourselves today? How do we celebrate ourselves today? Pride. Number 6, pride. How do we celebrate ourselves today? Pride. How do we celebrate ourselves today? All right. And nice. Well, kind of nice. We got the 10 of Pentacles, which is family, legacy, generational wealth. And then we also got the 3 of Swords, which is heartache, heartbreak. All right, so how can I celebrate myself today? So you can celebrate yourself today knowing that you are no longer in this hurt, heartbreak energy, and you're now in this 10 of Pentacles, happy, long-lasting, stable, happy family energy. And if you're not here yet, you will be. Just keep up with your healing and you will get there. And remember, don't go for anybody that breadcrumbs you. Stay away from that because that will cause a heartbreak. All right, last one, sloth. What can I do to step up or expand my self-care? Sloth, what can we do to step up and expand our self-care? What can we do to step up and expand our self-care? Sloth. What can we do to step up and expand our self-care? Seven. All right, well, these flew out. I was gonna put them back, but my guide said no, keep them out. So we got 7, that could be significant. We got 7 of Swords, 7 of Wands, and Knight of Wands. So Knight of Wands is somebody that is fiery, fast, courageous, comes in quick, ready to fight, ready for action, in and out. That is basically a player type energy, in and out. And then with the cactuses and the fiery sands on the bottom and the fiery cacti wand, that makes me think of STD. His wand's burning, so somebody has an STD right now. They may need to get checked if they're having any burning there. Yes, definitely. All right, and then we have the 7 of Wands, which is protecting, putting up your boundaries, which we learned about. And then the 7 of Swords. Being strategic and no longer being strategic or trying to manipulate others. So, all right, so that was just a quick read. But remember, the 7 deadly sins, they are sinful, they are not healthy. They are rules in the Bible and spiritual laws. So make sure you guys are healing. Please don't be out there trying to manipulate people, because it's not cute. It's not funny, especially if you're a grown-ass adult. If you're 30 and over, like, none of you males should be out there playing games with females. It looks ridiculous, and nobody's going to want to date you, or let alone be in a relationship with you. And that's probably why you're dating these young girls that are underage, because nobody grown is going to want to be with you and take you serious. So, all right. Have a good night. Bye.